Okay, let's go into the second review, and that is Burdock. Now, Burdock at 4 stars is a 7/4 with the ability of Stop Opponent's bonus. So, firstly, Siffy, what is your initial thoughts on Burdock?
My initial thoughts when I first looked at the card was pretty poor. I mean, I don't really like 4 stars that do 4 damage, and we're talking about roots here. But Noodle by herself has a higher stat. She has 8 power and 4 damage as well. Yuki, same thing, but 1 less star and has a different ability. And Nahi CR exists in the world too, and while she has 2 less damage, she's an all-stop. But then the more I thought of it, the more I liked Burdock. Mainly because, 1, he's a full stop, and the most full stops that are 4-star either have 6 power or are conditional. Like, Kristen, for instance, is like courage or something based.
Yeah,
or confidence. Confidence,
yeah.
Right. Right, so 1, he can get that off whenever he wants. Second, he 2-hit KOs with Lou, which is great, because Lou is their main killer. If you need a 2-hit KO, you basically use Lou. And
although Lou is Elo banned at this moment. I don't know when she'll come back, so maybe Ojibwe. Huh? Ojibwe, guys? Yeah?
No.
Ojibwe?
I like Ojibwe. He's a stupid card.
Although Manfred got really high with him. That's quite funny.
Yeah, I heard that, but that's old. You can use Kiki. Kiki's a pretty solid card.
Yeah, wow, Kiki, yeah.
You're just mad.
But oh wow, yeah, I know. But anyway, yeah, going on. Sorry to distract you there.
Yeah, now you just made my review 100% worse.
But no, yeah. So Burdock, yeah, you said he can pair up with Lou.
And that's a lot to a KO right there. And also the Roots don't have a lot of good 4-stars. Now you think about it. Like their best 4-star, I believe, now currently was like Amane, which. Yeah. Not that terrible, but at the same time, not that great. And he's not the best 4-star. He's not even close to the best 4-star in the game, but he's pretty decent, I'd say.
Yeah. I have to say, I mean, the problem was with the kind of bans that the staff put on Ratana, that I think they really had to be careful with how the stats were on Burdock. Because if it was 1 power more, or maybe 1 damage more, then I think people would get in the ban hammer on him or whatever, just because he would have been slightly similar to Ratana in that sense. So I think the stats are kind of fair, considering the staff want to be careful not to create another Ratana in that sense. But anyway, yeah, so I mean, talking about the card really, I think with the full stopper, do you think that's a really kind of big thing for the Roots?
I don't think it's super huge, as like back in the day when a full stop came out, the game changed. Now I think we're at that point where there's enough solid power guys that are very popular that full stop isn't as groundbreaking. It's still nice to have. It's never a bad thing to have. At the same time, it's not as wowish as it used to be. But I still think Burdock would be pretty balanced if he had 5 damage. But that's just me.
Well, I don't know about that, Sniffy. I mean, the thing is with the 5 damage, I mean, it would be pretty much kind of much better than Kristen already. And then also...
straight up raids aren't anything new in this game, don't forget. Just because it's better than Kristen doesn't mean it's game breaking still.
I know, I mean, well, yeah, to be fair, yeah. But I mean, I think the staff really wanted to try and make this card not as good as Ratana, because otherwise people would be like, it's so good.
No. The reason why Ratana was so good, and maybe I'm wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure it was, 1 had 8 solid power, so anything else from the Roots and anything else from the Geist couldn't really take it down. Second thing is, it had 5 solid damage, which is pretty nice. I think the 5 solid damage was ignorable, though, due to its high power, because the 5 damage never 2-hit KO'd with anything. You don't 2-hit KO with Chakra with it or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just something nice to have. But it also had a good ability. Like, not great anyway, but it was like a useful ability that helped it win fights. All those things Ratana has, and, is the reason why it was so broken at the time. This guy has a great ability, don't get me wrong. But his power isn't that great compared to some of the other Roots, like Noodle, for instance.
Yeah.
And his damage is equal to a 3-star. So if his damage is like a little bit better than a 3-star would, his power still isn't as amazing as a normal Roots, as Roots normally are. So I don't think he'd be as bad as Ratana. Personally.
Okay. Alright. So yeah, I mean, I think the issue I had with Burdock, though, is I think the 7 power just isn't strong enough in Elo metagame, unfortunately. Most of the cards in Elo metagame are generally 7 power. Most of the 3 stars are generally 7 power, so they beat him, unfortunately, pill for pill. So you have to be.
Yeah, that's very true. But if I had to upgrade something without making him more broken, it would definitely be the damage. Because if he comes to 7.5, most people don't play him any differently. Because 7 is an awkward damage to get into. If he was an 8.4, he could take down a lot of things, and that would make him debatably like a little bit more broken. I don't think he'd still be broken per se, but
yeah, I wouldn't say I wouldn't say he was broken if he was an 8.4, because let's not forget Gibson. I mean,
right,
that thing's broken as hell.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think if you gave him 1 extra damage, I don't think it would change much. It wouldn't be a bad thing though, but
Yeah, but I don't think we should really go too far into this. Although we've spent about most of this review on it. I mean, because obviously his stats will never change, but that's
Right.
the
philosophy thing.
the philosophy. If he was this, he would be this. But yeah, anyway.
People would like to know.
But yeah, I mean, we pretty much said everything there is to really say. I mean, he's the competition. He is, I think, the kind of best at the moment. Really, I mean, maybe someone may argue, maybe Lily or Amani, maybe I don't know, but that's Burdock. The full stopper is just useful. I mean, it's a useful thing to have. I mean, finally he can like kind of blast his way through maybe a red rare,
right?
Or I can't think of any other card that really would. Well, I mean, just generally kind of large abilities, I suppose.
Right.
Like especially like the piranhas. There we go. That's a good example. The piranhas.
It's never a bad thing. But a full stop used to like change the game, as I said. Everyone went ooh and ah over Glorg. Everyone like their mind blew over a lot of all stars or all stops. But nowadays, I think when we see an all stop, we're like, oh, that's pretty cool, but keep on going.
Yeah. I think the problem is with full stoppers nowadays is that you can generally just use insanely high power and you should be fine. So
right, the current metagame right now is, I'm pretty sure, at least in my opinion, I don't play Elo as much, but I'm pretty sure it's high power.
Yeah, and
all stops are good, but they generally don't have high power.
But anyway, with Burdock though, the great thing about it is because I recently just made a deck with him. He's now able to be used in the Roots mono deck. If anyone ever uses mono Roots, but now if you wanted to use the mono Roots, then Burdock kind of fills in that kind of gap, I suppose, because they didn't really have a good 4-star, and now they generally have now. I mean, you can fill that in the kind of gap there, and then get your little Gurchin in and all that. So, all that sort of stuff, I suppose.
Very true.
Yeah, very true. Anyway, lastly, your rating out of 10, what would it be?
My rating out of 10, and as I said, don't have it in front of me, so I don't really know what I gave it, but it would probably be a 8 out of 10. Probably 8 out of 10. As I said, he doesn't change the game that much in any way. 7 power, pretty low for a 4-star. 4 damage, very low for a 4-star. But he's very nice to have. He's probably one of the better 4-star 4 damagers in the sense, and there's not much better than him in the Roots 4-star category.
Yeah. I'll probably do the same, maybe 8 out of 10. Just interesting, I was just looking at the reviews, and apparently Manfred gave it an 8.5 out of 10. And if you don't know Manfred, he's the guy who's really good at Elo. So for those viewers who didn't know that, there you go. But oh, sorry. I think the thing is with Burdock, he's good, but he's definitely not overpowered, unfortunately. At the same time, though, he is pretty good for the Roots, especially since they didn't really have a good 4-star. Sorry. I'm dying.
That was pretty.
I am, yeah. Well, yeah, I am pretty, But they... that was
okay.
That was terrible. Anyway, right, as I was saying. But yeah, anyway, he's a nice little 4-star. He's not overpowered, though, but he's still... Full stopper is nothing to laugh about. I mean, it's still a nice little thing. Especially against Roots. No, not Roots. I mean, against... come to me, Rescue. It's a very useful ability against Rescue in that sense, because now Burdock can pretty much just absolutely juggernaut his way through all the kind of like the attack manipulation clans that cause Roots a little bit of problems, I suppose. And Burdock is a very nice counter against them and all that. So 8 out of 10 kind of seems like a reasonable kind of rating, I suppose.
Yeah, it's 7 out of 10 is usually the average, and he's a little bit above average. But
yeah,
it doesn't change the game. So
he isn't changing it, really. I mean, he's not Elo like changing, I suppose.
Right.
He's not of course the next apocalypse, and you are.
Yep.
But there you go. Right.